Let's come to video 6, the 4 principles of searching. We are going to be doing principle 4, Boolean operators. What are we going to use Boolean operators for? We are going to learn about them and see how to use them. We are going to see how to use them for combining more than one search term. Till now, in all the principles, we learned about the principles by using a single term. Now we are going to be using more than one search term together while searching. Very often we need to find results on something like this. We want information about asthma as well as bronchitis. Or we may want to look for articles by White in the journal Thorax in 2015. So you could see in the first case we tried to combine 2 terms, in the second we tried to combine 3 terms. How do we actually do this combination? Using what are called Boolean operators. The wrong method of combining search terms is like this, where the words we underline, they could be prepositions or conjunctions, they are completely ignored by the search engine in PubMed. So, the right methods is to combine search terms with, and, or, not. These 3 terms are compulsory to be typed in capitals and they are called Boolean operators. In the previous video, we learned that we could type in our search term in any case. We could type the field name, that is author, title, mesh, anything in capitals or small. But when it comes to Boolean operators and, or, not, they must be typed in capitals. Let's learn how to use Boolean operators. First, we learn how they actually work. I type ASTHMA in the search box in PubMed. I now know that the results in PubMed contain the word asthma. This is simply a refresher of principle 1. Let's say I get 100 results. Yes, it's not the real number, but this is only for this exercise. Let's say I get 100 results that contain the word asthma. I have not tagged my search. Now, if I type asthma and bronchitis, the results could be less than or equal to 100. Theoretically, the possibility of it being equal to 100 is rare because we are looking for results that contain asthma and bronchitis together. Not everybody who writes about asthma has to write about bronchitis. So the results most often would be less than 100 as they must contain both terms together. I'm going to pause for a minute and say that if we think as humans, we tend to think that the results would be more than 100 because we are thinking of results about both. But the computer search engine is looking for items in PubMed that contain both terms together. And that is why the results will be less than 100. If we search for asthma or bronchitis, now we understand that the results will obviously be more than 100 because the computer search engine understands it as we want records that contain either the word asthma or bronchitis. Minimum one of the terms must be there in the results. If both terms are there, it's great. Finally, if we search asthma not bronchitis, the results will be less than 100 because from the first set where all results contained the word asthma, we are excluding the second set where in the records that contain asthma, bronchitis was also present. We are specifying asthma, not bronchitis. So this has to be learned very thoroughly because this forms the basis of all our searching with more combinations later on. I'd also like to specify one more thing here. If I typed asthma and bronchitis, it is the same as typing bronchitis and asthma. When we use and, we are only specifying that the results must contain both terms together. If I search for asthma or bronchitis, or I search bronchitis or asthma, the number of results will be same because we are only specifying that every result record must contain minimum one of these terms. But when it comes to not, we need to be careful. When I say asthma, not bronchitis, I'm looking for 100 minus the second set. But if I type bronchitis, not asthma, the result depends on how many records contained the word bronchitis. If it were, say, 150, it would be 150 minus whatever was in the second set. So not has to be used very carefully. Let's do some more exercises to understand exactly how the Boolean operators work. This time I'm taking smaller numbers. If I typed asthma in PubMed, let's assume we got just 10 results. I'm defining that I searched bronchitis, I got 7 results. This is only for this exercise. I can depict these results in a different way. Here, I'm putting a circle and saying 10 records contained asthma. I'm also putting a second circle saying 10 records contain bronchitis. If I show this picture this way, then the common area indicated by the arrow shows us results that would be about asthma and bronchitis. Because in this area, we are saying this part represents part of 10 records that contain asthma, part of 7 records that contain bronchitis. So obviously the number will be less than 7. Let's assume we got 4 results there. So 4 records contain the word asthma and the same 4 also contain bronchitis. With the same picture, let's see what happens if we did a search asthma or bronchitis. We now know that in the entire PubMed there are 10 records that contain asthma. There are 7 records that contain bronchitis. There are 4 records that contain both the terms. So when we search asthma or bronchitis, our results will be like this. It's 10 plus 7 for sure, but the 4 records are really repetitive in both the sets. And we don't want duplicates in our results. So the final result we get will be 10 plus 7 minus 4 that contain both the terms because they'll be duplicates. The final result will be 13. What happens when we search asthma, not bronchitis? We have our data here. The result will be 10 records that contain asthma, out of which 4 records contain bronchitis. So it will be 10 minus 4, which is 6. Principle 4. When we combine 2 or more search terms, we must use Boolean operators. If we use AND, all the results contain the terms together and the results will be less than the first term. Or results contain at least one of the term and so it will be more than any individual term. Not, the results contain the first term and do not contain the rest of the term. So again, we get less results. Having learned the 4 principles, we'll quickly do exercises that comprise all 4 principles. First exercise is based on principle 3 and 4. My HOD told me to read up articles by Professor Kim in the journal JAMA. How exactly do we type this in PubMed? The two terms are Kim and JAMA. We need to tag each of them. So we tag Kim with AU, JAMA with JOUR, and combine the two with the Boolean operator AND, because every result we want must contain Kim as an author, must contain JAMA as a journal. So this is how we tag it. And once again, I'd like to repeat, the search term Kim, JAMA, the tags AU, JOUR can be typed in any case and has to be in capital. Next exercise, principles 3 and 4, that's Boolean, the fields and Boolean. I want to quickly read up something on eosinophilia in asthma and bronchitis. Now, when we need something on a topic, usually we should be doing a mesh search. But the question here is, I want to quickly read up something, which means it's ideal for us to get these terms in the title of all the records that we find. So we'll be tagging all the terms with TI. Eosinophilia, TI, and asthma, TI, and bronchitis, TI. So in an ideal situation, we should get somewhere like 25 to 35 records where all of them have all the three terms in the title. But let's say we got just 3 results. Yes, the ideal search is mesh to get everything, but we still want something which is a quick read. Let's see what we can do. We can expand the search by changing TI to TIAB. That means we are looking for the words in the abstract in addition to the title. So we type eosinophilia TIAB and asthma TIAB and bronchitis TIAB. This time we got just 7 results, and when we scanned them, we probably found only 1 or 2 very relevant. So while mesh is the best, let's do one more quick alternative, which is we are doing a further expansion where we substituted asthma and bronchitis with asthma or bronchitis. Here, what we are really looking for is some authors may have written about eosinophilia in asthma, some may have written separately on eosinophilia in bronchitis. So we are trying to expand our search. Here, maybe we get a good number of results, but there is one additional thing we've got to be careful about. When we type our search terms, the PubMed search engine searches in the order in which we type. How does it interpret this search? It first makes a set of all items where eosinophilia and asthma come together in the title. Then, when it sees or bronchitis, it makes a separate set of all items with bronchitis in the title, whether they have eosinophilia or asthma or not, and then just combines the two sets and gives it to us as a single set. So we'd get a whole lot of articles where bronchitis is the title but has nothing to do with either eosinophilia or asthma. How do we correct this? Correcting this strategy, there are 3 methods. Let's go through them. The first method is simple. We just change the order of our search terms. How do we do that? One thing we could do is to just reverse it in this case. Bronchitis, TI, or asthma, TI, and eosinophilia, TI. How does PubMed interpret this search? Let's see that. This is what we put as a changed order. It first makes a set where there's either bronchitis or asthma in the title, and automatically some items where both are together in the title. Then it sees and eosinophilia TI. It knows that it has to look for the word eosinophilia inside the bronchitis or asthma set. So what will we get finally? Let's see. The final results will contain either bronchitis or asthma in the title and definitely contain eosinophilia in the title. This method, where we put the correct order, is the best method to apply because we'll be doing searches in many different ways, and the correct order of planning the search is a very good way of conducting our searches. It gets applied in other contexts. Let's move on to the second method, where we have the same order as we did initially, but we just grouped asthma or bronchitis with round brackets or parentheses. When we group it this way, PubMed understands that that has to be treated separately. So how does it work? It first makes a set where there's eosinophilia in the title. Then makes a second set where there's either asthma or bronchitis in the title. When we combine it with and, it knows that the asthma or bronchitis has to be inside the eosinophilia set, applied to the eosinophilia set. So how will the final results look like? Let's see. In the final result, every record will contain eosinophilia for sure, either asthma or bronchitis. So pictorially, this is just a mirror image of the previous method that we did. Let's move on to the last method. The third method is a different method of grouping. We can type in eosinophilia TI and asthma TI is one set, or eosinophilia TI and bronchitis TI as a separate set. How does PubMed do the search? It makes one set where eosinophilia and asthma are together in the title, a second set where eosinophilia and bronchitis are together in the title. When it combines both with or, it just gets us both the sets together as a single set. How does the final result look like? Let's move on and see. The final result will definitely have eosinophilia in the title, either asthma or bronchitis in the title. So we saw three methods of combining search terms when there are different Boolean operators. The first method, where we use the correct order, that we combined the two or terms, asthma or bronchitis first, then did the and eosinophilia, is the best method to apply in all searching in databases. Let's do a quick recap of the four principles. Word search or keyword search, the results only contain our terms. Some will be about them, some will not be about them. If we do a thesaurus-based search, in this case mesh, the results are guaranteed to be about our search terms, whatever the titles may contain. In certain contexts, we search in specific fields using standard tags like AU, TI, JOUR, etc. These are factual tags and not descriptive. Mesh are the descriptive tags. The last principle is when we combine search terms, we need to use Boolean operators and or not. So do practice by recapping all the four principles and learning them thoroughly. And then when we search PubMed, we're going to have much better search results. So finally, let's compare where we came from the past to the present. Till today, if we did our searches by just typing in keywords, treatment of asthma in children, we learned in this lesson that for a quick search, we could just use TI as the tag so that in all the results, we have the three terms in the title and they'll look very, very relevant. Remember, this is not the ultimate search method. If we got too few, we could tag the search with TIAB. That means we are looking for the presence of these words in the title or in the abstract. But the best search is done with asthma slash therapy mesh, which stands for treatment of asthma, and child mesh. Both the concepts are tagged with mesh. So, irrespective of these terms coming in the title or abstract or not, we are guaranteed that all results will be about treatment of asthma in children. In the titles or abstracts, the authors may have used the word treatment or therapy or intervention, so many different synonyms. For children, they may have used children, child, babies, etc. But when there are standardized mesh tags applied to all of them, we at one shot get all the relevant results about treatment of asthma in children. So, advice here, please learn the four principles thoroughly, learn about mesh thoroughly. We're going to be learning more about mesh in the coming videos, and your PubMed searches can get really, really relevant by doing these kinds of right search methods. Thank you so much.